Good afternoon, my friends. Welcome back. So today is another short video summarizing some of the Hearthstone. No, what? No, I'm not summarizing Hearthstone. No. Good afternoon, my friends. It's lovely to have you back. So today it's a summary video of some more Hearthstone. What the fuck? I'm not playing Hearthstone. I don't have any Hearthstone accounts. Good afternoon, my friends. It's lovely to have you back. So this is a summary video of some of the more homecoming related news that have come out of the forums and such that I would like to share with you over the last couple of days. So we've seen like new cards with abilities that we can discuss and analyze a little bit, which I will be doing. We've seen some information on the Squirtle faction identity and some other small things too. So the first thing I want to talk about is these homecoming videos, the monster reveal, Squirtle reveal. We know we're getting more, but Pavel has discussed what type of topics we will see. So we'll see a video about achievements. We'll see a video about the coin flip token. We'll see a video about the rank system, MMR and pro ladder changes. We'll also probably see, he hasn't explicitly said this, but we'll probably see something about weather. We might see something about artifacts. We might see something about provisions. These are all things which, you know, we'd like to know about. And that's a lot of videos, really, considering we've only got a month till it releases on PC. Sorry, guys. So I'm thinking we'll get at least one video a week. And I actually think we'll get them on Tuesday every week, personally. If we get a video on the 25th on Tuesday, then I think it's pretty safe to say we'll get a video every Tuesday until it releases. So the next thing I want to talk about is the Squirtle faction identity. Pavel has alluded to more of Squirtle's faction identity. We know it's partly related to traps. Traps are going to be Squirtle's thing, as they always have been, but also boosting. While it's not going to be solely Squirtle, Squirtle are going to have a faction identity about boosting. Which is very unusual, but I think this leads us very nicely into our first card and ability that I would want to discuss today, and that is Aglais. And I think Aglais shows us a really nice insight into this boosting faction identity mindset. So Aglais is a legendary gold for Squirtle. We don't know the strength of the card or the provisions, but you know, the ability gives us the insight regarding that faction identity. It has the ability on deploy, double all boosts on this unit at the end of the turn. So you place her down at the end of your turn, she doubles all the boosts on her. So that's quite an unusual ability. It's quite nice in the fact that the opponent doesn't get a chance to actually knock the boost down before she doubles it, which is pretty nice. First thought is that she has the potential to be a power play. We don't know what her strength is. If we just say it's 1, if you boost her by 4, then it actually boosts her by 8, which means it's a 9. And you probably try to go for more than 4. So she has the potential to be quite powerful in terms of what we've seen value-wise so far. But also, it's clear that she's a very setup-heavy card. She will require a lot of existing plays to benefit from her ability, and that will in turn mean that she's a very bad top deck. If you've got no synergy with her, she's not going to do anything. And no doubt, I've got the feeling her strength will be quite low to offset the fact that she seems quite powerful with a doubling of the buffs. So obviously she has buff synergy. If you boost her, she gets double the strength. So there's 2 ways I can think of using this. Because she boosts at the end of the turn, you don't get much chance to do it. So the first one is playing a lot of prior units which have orders attached to them. And the orders are related to boosting a card. Okay, so you place Aglais, then you activate all your orders and it basically gets doubled on Aglais. Alternatively, any hand buff cards will get double value if you put them onto Aglais, boosting her in your hand, and when you play her, she'll get doubled before the opponent can interact with it, which is pretty powerful, really. I mean, we've seen one card, I think it's the Havkaran Smuggler. It basically acts like a Vryhead Dragoon where it buffs something in your hand by 1. If it hits her, it effectively turns it to 2. Kind of like Brayan in that respect, where Brayan was, or the Alvan Sword Woman. They effectively doubled the boost, but they did it in damage terms. But I can actually see that being quite a problem if there's a lot of hand buff mechanics in the game for Squirtle, because it'll turn into what we've seen before, where you win round 1 and then round 2 you bleed the opponent playing loads of undervalued bronzes and golds because you're boosting your hand and then you keep bleeding them, and then in round 3 you just drop a massive Aglais. That's just a thing that could happen that you have to be wary of when you're designing cards like this, which gain double value from buffs and stuff. So we've actually seen Ethne, Squirtle's leader card, which has the order to boost a unit by 4 and has a single charge. And this brings me nicely back around to something else Berger said, which is different leaders could have different charges or a way to gain more charges. Okay, so in the top corner and the bottom corner where the leaders are, there's a little icon that has a 1 or a 0, and this indicates how many charges of your leader's order they have. Okay, now most of the ones we've seen have 1 charge, but you might be able to get more charges, or you know, different leaders have different charges. One of the theories is that the coin flip token fix actually relates to your leader's orders, and you actually get a second charge with your leader for the benefit of going first. Okay. But with Ethne and Aglais combo, it starts to get a little bit, you might say, powerful, because Ethne boosting by 4 actually gives it 8 value. If you have 2 charges, that's 16 value. If you manage to get 3 charges, that's 24 values plus Aglais's base strength, whatever that might be, which is quite a lot of value considering we've seen some gold cards are like 8 to 12 value. So that's Aglais, and I think she gives us a nice insight to the Squirtle faction identity boosting thing. So let's move on to the next card and the next ability we've seen, the Unicorn. So next up we have the Unicorn. This is a 4 strength gold neutral card. We don't know the provision cost, but it has a deploy ability. Boost a unit by 4, double the boost if you control the Chironex. So it has duo synergy with the Chironex. Most likely the Chironex has some synergy with the Unicorn. They're trying to go for that old duo synergy like Olaf and Vabjorn. But I don't really have much more to say on this one. It's pretty boring in my opinion. 4 boost 4 or 4 boost 8. It's legendary, I think, so 8 strength is probably not very good and 12 is probably better. But you obviously need the Chironex, so it's a bit situational. It doesn't seem that good. It seems boring. I would like to do a little challenge with you. I'd like you to write in the comments below, if you want to, the most boring Chironex ability you can think of based upon, you know, now we know what this card is. What is the Chironex ability? And I want you to make it the most boring one that you can think of. And then I want to see if we're right when we see the Chironex ability revealed. Okay. So finally, the last thing is just an ability. We don't know what card it belongs to. The strength, the faction. If it's neutral, it means it's harder to balance. It's more broad. So it might be abusable in easier ways. Just saying. But its ability is really interesting. On deploy, you give the doomed tag to an enemy, and it has an order to destroy a doomed enemy. So the doomed tag is when that unit dies, it doesn't go to the graveyard, it banishes. So, you know, that's quite a drastic thing to do. And it also has the order to destroy a doomed target. So you can target the highest thing, you know, like a 25 strength card, and then destroy it easily. And it banishes it too, so you can't do anything fancy with it. Now, we do know, we have to remember that orders have summoning sickness, so you won't be able to give doom to an enemy and then destroy it in the same turn, because the order needs to wait 1 turn, so the opponent will most likely try and kill this, which kind of leads me to believe that this is quite a powerful gold, but it has quite a low health, because its ability is quite powerful to destroy any card on the board that's an enemy after 1 turn. Now, the reason I said neutral is quite powerful is because we've seen John Natalis's ability. John Natalis gives every unit Zeal, and Zeal is the ability to have no summoning sickness. So if Zeal is on the board, or you can give this Zeal when you place it down, you can give Doomed to an enemy and then destroy it instantly, which is a pretty powerful tactic. You know, it requires setup. You'd have to put some like John Natalis down, but it gives you that really powerful play. And if they destroy John Natalis, it's not the end of the world. They use removal on that rather than removal on this, possibly. The second thing is giving Doom to an enemy but not being able to destroy it can still hurt quite dramatically against resurrection decks. Now, in Homecoming, we've been told that generally it's Skellige that's going to be resurrection. That's their thing. That's their faction identity again. So this looks like it's going to target Skellige more likely. But don't forget, Renew is probably still in the game. I'd say I think things like Renew and Ham Marvin's Blue Dream and Royal Decree are things that are probably going to still be around. And so there is a broad use for this in terms of if someone plays a powerful gold and then renews it again, this could start to come in to deal with that type of shenanigans, while also being genuinely good on its own in matchups where that doesn't happen, you know? But we also actually just target tags. This is what it's doing. It's targeting a tag, even if you don't like give doom to an enemy, but then they play a card which is later on doomed by itself, like some sort of heavy resurrector or something they don't want you to use twice. You can just outright destroy it, if you use the order anyway. Okay, so that just about wraps up the video for all the homecoming information that we've got for now. I think we might get a video very soon on Tuesday, the 25th. Let's see if I'm right. Take care of yourselves, everybody, and have a wonderful night. I'll see you again very soon.